a great afternoon and a wonderful evening. We have molded ourselves primarily through upbringing. That conditioning that takes place during our childhood upbringing carries into the whole lifetime. Those are the ones that's carrying as those habits, our perceptions, our beliefs. And meditation naturally is helping us see. Some of them are reprogrammed, some of them are transcend, some of them without even we knowing about it. This childhood time, everything that happens is that inner child. And that inner child is carries forward for us, all of us. And it is that inner child which is deep inside of us is what is sort of made a lot of assumptions as it grew up. And then formed about the world the beliefs and the perceptions about the world. And there are a few things that are very notable. If there is a family constantly arguing and fighting, then the child feels unprotected. Because the child feels insecure at that point. If there is a constant arguments and discussions and fights and between members. Whether it's parents, whether it is teachers, especially during that childhood time, early age, or the community where we are living, so their feeling of unprotectedness comes, feeling of survival, unprotected. So what will happen if they go away? Will they be supporting me? So a lot of survival thinking comes in when people are exposed to these environments. If their parents or the environment is constantly giving them things conditionally, you do well, I'll give you this. You come in and have food, then I'll give you a toy. No, unknowingly. A lot of parenting is happening unknowingly. Conditions. But they feel out of love because they do well. I'm wishing the best for the child. So they do well, then I'll give you this. The reward system, right? But if things have been set up that way, then it's a conditional love. Then as the child comes up and says, things don't come naturally. Love will not come naturally. Love will come that parents spending the time will come to me, with me, because the child is always looking for some time with the parents. It will come only with some condition. It's called conditional love. So the child grows up saying that I'm not loved as is. I have to always show something in order to get loved. That's lack of love, or feeling that I'm only get conditionally, I'm recognized. Conditionally, I'm loved, that I can get their attention. Unconditionally, not there. When some meditators we all feel that unconditionally when we get that happiness out of nowhere, because some of it is being projected out of this whole thing that there's always something has to be there before I can be loved. But in meditation, we get that unconditional joy. We don't know why we're feeling happy. We don't feel like, the world is going to take care of me. Unconditional, because we're going back and touching our inner core, which is going to help us overcome some of these aspects. Valued and undervalued. If the only thing every time in a discussion, if the parents, in a big family setting, we come together, and then we share about children, what each one is doing, and then one we talk about, oh, my son, yeah, he gets less marks. He studies hard, but he gets less marks. Studies hard is there, but then we have a measurement. He gets less marks. Yeah, he did a lot, but he didn't somehow succeed in that. So if we talk, because unknowingly, and if we talk, this kind of dialogues come from us. Teachers make a judgment because one time they didn't do well, say, no, not you, you cannot answer well. If this word says that you cannot answer well, not you can't answer well, you didn't do it right last time. We give them a chance, but you didn't do it right last time. The moment you say these words, then the child is taking and saying, I'm not valued. The child may actually have worked very, very hard, might have really studied very well for the exams, prepared very well, to the best of that child's ability, not to the best of the parent ability, right? Ability meaning at that point, whatever has been discovered for the child. But then still the child feels undervalued if this is the kind of environment, even though whatever they do, but if we are talking, what have you done last time? Well, show me your remarks. You're only this much. What, you couldn't even write this essay fully. I see it here, so many errors are there when we are evaluating with the child in the school papers. What happened to you? You can't do this. When you do this kind of questioning, which is constantly pointing out to them that if that is what is bring up, then they feel undervalued. So I can try, I'm working on, but they feel like undervalued. Now what's the, when I say undervalued, then they will not have interest to do, as we grow up, we don't have interest to do things. We withdraw. We don't take initiatives. We don't latch on to the opportunities. Because they're undervalued anyway. Whatever I do, that a parent is always looking at it in a different angle, because they are very good. Materially, they will be successful, so they're always comparing with themselves and then talking about it. If all I'm hearing from my teacher or the parent is that no, can I go out? Not today. Can I go out and play with my friends? Not today. Can you give me some money? I'm going to go buy and buy. Too expensive later. Can I get that potato fry? I already made tomorrow, not today. If this is the answer on a regular basis, we get no. If we get a no multiple times, then there is this general the belief that, okay, I'm not accepted. If the no comes multiple times, because I ask a little things I want to do, I want to go out, spend some time with my friends. I want to go up, just out into the garden in the night. No. Whatever may be the fear, whatever may be the reason, but then because we have a plan, we have a version of ourselves. Of course, this is changing quite a bit into the education. What parents feel needs to be done is the best for the child. Then that's even worse. But everything is again as we want to do the best for you. In the gamut of doing the best, the personality is getting molded into differently. So, conditional love, feeling unprotected, not safe, survival. Things will only come when I have to do, unconditionally. That means I don't just get loved. I have to do always prove something to be get loved. I'm not accepted anyway. I'm not valued. These qualities are extended into the adulthood. Discipline is another one. When we have a fixed regime, very strict discipline, 6 o'clock dinner, 7 o'clock bedtime, 8 o'clock sleep. If we have this kind of very strict things for the children, again thinking that that's a way to discipline them, then they feel lack of freedom. Many of them will not express to the parents, because they'll also look at if there is also an arguments and discussion and say, okay, I want to please the parent. So they will not express, because if there are arguments already, they're making their calls, they're already feeling unprotected, unsafe, and so they cannot express it, because if I express anything, it's going to further fuel it, have further arguments, so they won't express it. But they'll know discipline. The discipline is sort of killing them. They feel like it's totally being held back. So what is the implication of this over discipline or the feeling lack of freedom? So every time they see somebody very disciplined person, they run away. In the adulthood, in our companies, in the communities, if we see somebody very disciplined, then we have a notion of what a discipline is. A police can be a disciplined person. An army person is very disciplined, because that's what comes out of it. They don't want to spend much time, because they don't feel like these people are. The moment somebody opens and talks about rule, regulation, they generally are withdrawing. So withdraw means what? What is all this? When I withdraw from a person who may be very good, but then I have this notion that all retired, all army or all defense personnel are disciplined, all teachers of certain age are very, very disciplined, then we say, okay, so I have to stay away from them, because they could be they're going to curtail my freedom if I'm going to be with them. I'm not valued, I'm not accepted, so I'm not valued, so let me not take anything new. So we get opportunities, we don't accept them. We're getting unexpected opportunities, not for me. That kind of love is not there. I'm not going to just get somebody just giving it to me. There always has to be reason. Oh, what is the reason why something is coming to me from this person? They may be out of love, they're giving it. But then it's not for me. Just like that, how can I get it? There's got to be something. There's got to be some condition here. It's a difference. That inner child that is molded as it goes up, we're forming these beliefs. The moment we see two managers not seeing eye to each other, two architects fighting, senior management having unhealthy discussions, the team members are feeling unprotected. Are this guy going to take care of me? Because that's what they've experienced from the childhood, they project it immediately. When there is an argument, discussion, okay, so may not be a safe place for us. Some of these are projected. But meditation, we have an answer. Meditation is helping us see inside. Helping us see inside. What am I carrying? What is my inner child carrying? And the moment we observe it, of course, then we can change it. Because we have formed based on various conditions. So meditation, as we're emptying our mind, emptying many of those deep-rooted conditions that we don't even know that we're carrying, so it might empty. Because the incidents will kept getting, they all get emptied. The memories are always there. Anything, remember, anything reprogrammed, we're going to learn this next week. Anything that we keep hearing gets programmed. So if we heard a lot of times no's, that gets programmed. So, but we don't even know we carry that belief. But meditation is helping us to reprogram, remove. So we're going to mold ourselves. We no longer will be held back by that limited belief that I'm not valued. As we do this work, as we are learning new knowledge that I'm unlimited, I'm unconditionally loved, By whom? This intelligent, infinite universe is there anyway loving us. Is that then we set ourselves only with respect to others? But then when we touch into that intelligence, which is constantly is always wanting to help us, then we change ourselves. It's so important because we get so many opportunities. Many people say, I don't believe that this is happening to me. That's because it's always been conditional for them. You can't accept it because it's been conditional. So this breath mindfulness meditation, friends, is a beautiful tool. It's helping us truly understand our psyche and then change that. And all of these qualities are so important. We have to move out of survival mode. We have to accept what things come as it is, and we don't feel like there is some hidden meaning behind that unconditional love versus not loved. Valued, and then opportunities come. Where opportunities come, so we got to feel that valued so that we can actually latch on to that opportunity. And you got to feel confident, otherwise you feel unaccepted. So you'll now be confident in going up and then talking about a project or a dream, because you feel not be accepted by the society, because that's the condition that is there. If you don't have that, then you'll not be able to present and talk about dream actively. So breath mindfulness meditation is helping us transform and develop these beautiful qualities which are going to help us shape our future. Our thoughts create reality, but then we got to change these hidden inner child beliefs, and they will slowly transform. And so we will start creating things that are absolutely that we want. We project it, but we have to take out things that are limiting us deep inside. So let's go into this meditation once again. For those of you who are new, we are doing Anapanasati, or breath mindfulness, mindful of the natural normal breath for the whole duration. Anapanasati is being with your in-breath and out-breath. Our goal of the meditation is to empty the mind. We want to empty all the thoughts, those 50, 60, 70,000 thoughts. And just by observing our natural breath, we become empty. We are slowly emptying the mind. Slowly the thoughts come down. As nobody is attending to the thought, it has to come down. Where our attention goes, the energy flows. So wherever we put our attention, there that's flaring up. So if we put it on thought, then it flares up. So we're taking our attention away from the thought. Otherwise, all the time our mind is there. So during this process, we're observing the breath being naturally there with us. Something that we've been given that great quality of forgetting that we are breathing, because it's there with us a lifetime. So when we observe the breath, we're not giving attention to thoughts. The thoughts come down, and we also forget the breath that we are breathing. And then breath also, since we are shutting down the body parts quite a bit, thoughts are shut down. We're not doing any physical activity, so everything is shut down. Only thing required is a little autonomous activity going on in the body. For that, it requires so little energy that our breath also becomes shorter, lighter for most people. It's fine. So as we're observing that, slowly thoughts come down. There'll be a point where we go into the other side, we're totally empty. That's the state we want to be. When we empty, then we start experiencing emptiness around us, dear friends. So relax yourself. The process for this is to cross your fingers into fingers, cross your feet at ankles, cross your fingers into fingers, and then rest them comfortably in your lap. Close your eyes. Remove the specs. And observe in breath and out breath. This is the process we want to do. And before that, we are doing a process called heart elevation. Heart elevation is to feel a heightened emotion of love, gratitude, compassion in our heart. And then follow me actively for this process. Throughout the meditation, we keep our eyes closed, cross our feet at ankles, and then heart elevation, we're going to keep our hands on our chest area for some time. And then once the heart elevation process is finished, I'm going to say now, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. That time you switch to this posture of having fingers crossed, and then keep them in your lap comfortably, and then observe the natural breath. Relax yourself. And today is a business leader day, so we're going to hear from business leaders. Former VP of Cognizant, Sai Kripasaga, who is also the managing trustee of Pyramid Valley, he's got immense amount of meditational benefits that he's utilized. So we'll hear from him after the meditation. And we might have another leader too, so I'm looking at it. So as we're relaxing in, every Sunday we learn from the practices some of the business leaders are using of the meditation. How meditation is helping them, and of course how they've been successful in general. So we learn from them. Many leaders may be meditating, may not be meditating, but they inherently possess various qualities that our thoughts create reality. They may not know, but they always stay positive in adverse situations. That I take care of others, that automatically I'll be taken care. I can grow with it. It's all in the team. That I have to enable them. So there's some of these qualities which we develop through meditation automatically. Many of them have. But then we look to listening to some leaders who are imbibing through meditation how it is changed. So may I invite, and we now will invite a dear friend, Sai Kripa Sagar, whom I co-traveled with in the journey of meditation during the last 25 years. Veena, can you introduce Sai Kripa Sagar?
Happy morning, everyone. Hope you all had a great meditation session today. It takes me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Sai Kripa Sagar. Mr. Sai Kripa Sagar is an accomplished technology business leader and a long-time meditator. He held the position of Vice President, Digital Engineering at the global IT services company Cognizant till recently. Sai was instrumental in establishing several technology practices there. In his career of 30 years in the IT services industry, Sai has held several roles from developer to software architect to business leader and has worked in India, North America, UK, and Europe. Sai holds degrees in computer science and a PhD in international business, having gone through an extraordinary transformation in his personal and professional life due to a daily practice of spreading the magic of meditation as a primary side hustle. Welcome, Sai.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my dear friends. It's great to be talking to all of you after a wonderful, amazing session of meditation. Thanks to my dear friend Chandra for having me here to share my experience of my meditation and inner journey. As Chandra mentioned, I got into meditation through him. I mean, he was the one who introduced me to meditation 15 years ago. Prior to that, when I started off my work as a computer software engineer long back on the year 1992, I got introduced to transcendental meditation, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi transcendental meditation, but I was doing it on and off, not very regular in the initial years. And subsequently, as I met Chandra and through his brother, Dr. GK, was a very great proponent of, was being a great proponent of meditation, Anapanasati meditation. Then we got introduced to Brahmarshi Patriji, the Pyramid Crystal Society's movement. So around the year 2005 is when I think both me and Chandra came back from the US to Bangalore. We got into this whole regularity or consistency of meditation. We used to do a lot of satsangs, we used to exchange, read a lot of spiritual books. And since then, it's been an amazing journey. And one thing I keep telling everyone, one wish I always have is pretty much why didn't I know the secret and the benefits of meditation much earlier, right? And I'll cover some of the points as I speak. So, with 30 years of IT experience, meditation has benefited immensely, and some of you know, most of you know, meditation, IT work has always been, it's almost like sometimes 24 hours, sometimes 20 hours, and then some of the IT companies, some of you might be working, or your kids might be working, or your relatives might be working, so you know how stressful that is. And now I realize all that stress is caused by us and not really because of the work or because of the pressures. So one of the biggest benefit, or one of the initial benefits that I've seen through meditation was the improvement in communication. So I've been a person brought up from a middle class family, being told that education and a job are essential for success and happiness in life, right? And then we all grew up in this whole with the belief system that you have to do more, you have to work more, you have to achieve more success, and that is the only way to be happy, only way to be prosperous, right? So with that mindset, I used to always think, it's a chatty mind. I call, I'm sure some of you belong to this category. I call ourselves as ETs, excessive thinkers. So we think a lot. Something happens, we think a lot. Something doesn't happen, we think a lot. So that is the category I belong to till I discovered the silence and meditation. Right. So one of the big benefits is communication. Prior to meditation, whenever you go into meeting, whenever I meet people, right, you always kind of get into this whole thing that, okay, what is it that I'm going to speak? And will the other person appreciate my speaking? And then getting into meetings, you prepare yourself, oh, this is what I want to kind of talk about. Pretty much in the initial stages, we always go into those status update meetings where every person needs to provide an update on what they've done in the past week and what they want to do, what they should be doing in the next week, right? So in those, it's always kind of orchestrated, choreographed, but variably, sometimes you deliver it right, and sometimes you're not able to answer some questions. So you cause stress, because especially when you are a youngster in an industry. As I continued the meditation practice, one of the things first thing that fell off was the excessive thoughts in the mind. And so your mind silences. Definitely all of you must be feeling that with this kind of meditation right now. So your mind completely becomes silent, and only those thoughts that are needed that keep coming. Definitely earlier it could be probably thousands of thoughts per second, and now probably it's like 10 thoughts per second. And so that was one big improvement as I go into meetings now, post the meditation practice. Going to meetings, the mind is not chatty. I know what I need to talk automatically, right? And then your responses become very spontaneous. You don't start judging yourself. You don't judge others. That used to be there for me prior to meditation. So, and that impairs our communication, right? Because we always kind of look at it from one lens, and our communication, our words start coming through that. So that was one of the big improvement in communication. The other thing is, as all of you have discovered, is concentration. Definitely, again, as your thoughts go down, I'm able to focus more on the job, right? And then pretty much, I think I was probably more managing or delivery manager for a couple of projects. And then invariably, you have to switch between multiple things, multiple meetings, and multiple calls, right? So as we keep switching, the concentration, the focus I was able to do on that kind of work was much better compared to earlier. And in fact, Earlier, I used to think, some of us used to think multitasking is best, right? I mean, you need to do multiple things. But that time, that was a lot more stressful and you wouldn't achieve many things in spite of multitasking. But once I got this chatter of the mind or the noisy mind calmed down, I was able to do multiple things with greater focus. So that is one big achievement. In fact, the ability for me to communicate well and the ability for me to concentrate on focus on one thing at a time, which allowed me to do multiple things, is the secret for my success. In fact, I've been thankfully to meditation and to all the wisdom that I've learned and all the people at work and at home. My career at Cognizant, this IT company that I used to work on, was on a fast track. This March, just before, unfortunately, just before lockdown, I decided to take a break from the corporate career, from the full-time corporate career, and I moved out as a vice president. I built out several practices, more technology-centric practices, and it's been an amazing journey. I've always been thankful for whatever I learned, whatever I worked, right? And then towards the end, as I was not beginning to enjoy what I was doing, I took this decision of moving into a different role or taking a break. And like going back to the communication and concentration thing, right? So one of the things that really helped me was the meetings. Slowly, as communication concentration improves, I started becoming aware of a lot of things, right? Just because your mind is not preoccupied with judging people or preoccupied with the next sentence that I'm going to speak, or preoccupied with things like, okay, what will other people think about me, or what will other people think about my capabilities. So your mind is free, and that's where spontaneity started flowing. There were several meetings where, though the meeting was going in a different direction, because someone else was presenting, my sense, I don't know whether I can call it as intuition or awareness, there were a lot of times where you felt the customer or the person on the other side of the meeting wasn't getting what he wanted. And that allowed me to sense, okay, maybe we should change this course of the meeting. Maybe we should kind of talk about a different thing during that time, right? And then that spontaneity also helped a lot of times. A lot of times to connect with the customer, connect during the presentation. And there was one specific meeting with a customer in the US, where though we prepared a lot of things for the presentation. I mean, some of you who've been in IT and corporate, so typically any meeting, a lot of work precedes a particular meeting, assuming this is what the customer needs. And then we go with a 50-slide presentation, whereas what happens in the meeting is totally different, right? And in this particular instance, that is what happened. So I was supposed to convince the customer of the benefits of moving to a new technology. And we had our usual presentation. But as I walked into the meeting, my account manager, he said, hey, this customer has been very tough nut to crack. And this particular set of people, they always do not allow us to talk in any meetings. They keep disturbing the meeting, and then we've not been able to pass the message on to them. So for some reason, I suddenly instinctively decided, okay, I'll not probably use the presentation that I already had. And as I walked into the meeting, I asked the gentleman, what is it that they were looking for, and what is it that they wanted me to focus on. And they said, hey, we wanted to really understand how you do things for customers and how other customers have benefited from this new technology before we can adopt it, right? And that is something we've not got from anyone. So immediately, thankfully, because of my experience and skills, and also because of my present moment awareness that time, I instinctively went to the whiteboard and started talking to them, drawing things on the whiteboard, explaining things, right? And then at the end of our, I didn't even notice that was 60 minutes long. At the end of the 1 hour, he was asking a couple of questions, and that's it. And then the customer himself said, oh, this is the first time that we are getting this clarity on this is how this technology needs to be used, and this is how the gains and benefits are realized by other customers. So that was amazing. I mean, I just didn't use any of the preparation that I had, but I just went into that that flow into the zone, and then started presenting. And then amazingly, the account manager came running to me and he said, hey, this is the first time those two customer stakeholders did not interrupt a meeting. They were totally absorbed in the meeting. And I said, I was thankful to the presence that I felt. And of course, meditation allowed me to calm the mind and then focus on what needs to be done, right? So that spontaneity, that awareness increases due to this whole practice of calming and cleansing and connecting, which is what meditation allows us to do. And there are several other examples where you go in before you go into an important meeting, you start wondering, hey, what is it that secret thing that will connect us to the customer? What is it that secret sauce that I need to talk about, which will move us forward in this whole deal or move us forward in this whole project, right? And invariably, there are several times you happen to kind of just bump into somebody either from the company side or from the client side who will provide that all important clue, will open the door to a better conversation, right? And again, I call more of those as synchronicities as well. But the key thing is meditation allows us to become more aware, be in the present moment, and that is why you're able to observe those synchronicities. They might be happening. It could be a casual conversation over coffee, but sometimes, okay, because of our judging mind, we think, okay, this guy is telling something on stuff. But when the judgment stops, when the thoughts about what I'm going to do in the future stops, you are in the present moment. You're able to observe that something hits you. Oh, this is a point that I need to talk. So there have been innumerable instances like that, where because of heightened awareness, you catch things and then spontaneously respond to what needs to be done. So that leads to me the other thing that has really helped me, and in fact, our guru Brahmarshi Patriji's one other big practice that he asks us to do besides meditation is book reading, swadhyaya. To me, synchronicities are pretty much insights that occur due to either meeting different people or reading something, right? It could be emails or whatever, or through some specific conversations. To me, all my insights or most of my insights happen through the practice of book reading, right? So for me, meditation I see as a practice of calming the mind and allowing me to be more spontaneous. Whereas as we go along, there are a lot of questions that arise. Hey, why this, why that? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then most of the time, I get in. The synchronicity is more about getting me to the right book or the right thing to read about, right? And then as I read that, I get my answers. So my practice has always been that anytime I have a question, though I might have a question, I go into meditation, but then subsequently, as I open up my email, as I talk to different people, someone immediately mentions some key book, and then immediately you think, okay, why did he mention the book? So I'll go look at it. I have close to probably 600 books on my Kindle, and I've probably spent a fortune on all those books. Thanks to the Kindle, thanks to my iPad, I don't have a bulk load of books to read it, but it's always very instantly I'm able to access. I know this is what I just go search and then figure out. Through books and meditation, I've always kind of allowed my life to kind of flow along. I mean, there have been a lot of instances. In fact, outside one personal instance, as I mentioned, I moved out of full-time IT corporate role in March. Prior to that, there were a lot of the year before that, there were a lot of changes in the company. We had a new CEO, and then everyone was in a waiting mode, waiting for things to happen, waiting for changes to happen before we dive into something new. But unfortunately, that waiting mode was kind of a wake-up call for me as well. There were during that waiting mode, because there were a lot of meetings not finalized, things like that. There were days where I had nothing to do, really no meetings, no interactions, right? So those were the days my body and then my psyche responded, saying that this is probably not what you are supposed to do. So I used to get severe headache during those days. And it continued for several months. I mean, I clearly noticed a pattern. Anytime I had meetings, I had conversations, I had something to do, those ways were fine. But anytime there was nothing on my calendar, it was very open. Though I try to relax, reading books and learning new things, you always get into this kind of this headache pattern. And that was a big wake-up call, telling me that this is probably it's time to move on to something more exciting, right? And then and that is when I decided, having had the conversations with my boss and several others, and then I fortunately moved out of Cognizant in March. But since then, again, it's been an amazing journey. I haven't had that thing about headaches causing me because of not having to do something. I always did something interesting, and interestingly, in the last few months, things just flowed. I mean, I just stayed with the synchronicities that were happening during the lockdown. So I got into a couple of new things. I mean, conducting some meditation sessions for my community and my family, right? And then writing something up, and then also I've been a managing trustee at Pyramid Valley International, so getting into those things, doing new digital work. So it's been always something new that I've been wanting to do. So that has kept me occupied, kept me engaged, and that is when I bumped into several books. And then one of the books was again about Yoga Sutras. And since then, I've read probably 20 different books and commentaries on Yoga Sutras. And that is when I figured out, though, yeah, meditation definitely helps us realize who we are. But then the next step is about turning that into action, right? And through all of these insights, I just want to kind of summarize four key things, four key insights that I've learned through the practice of meditation, through the practice of reading books, and all the experiences that I've had in my corporate and personal world. Number one is all of us have infinite innate intelligence, right? So we have that infinite innate intelligence. We call it divinity, we call it God, whatever you call it. We have that, and that is what all the scriptures talk about. And that was a big revelation to me. That is number one. Number two, pretty much it is our minds, it is our mind, our conditioning that is kind of prevents us from accessing that innate intelligence. And then through meditation is one of the key practices. For me, meditation has been that core practice that allows my mind to calm down, allow the fluctuations of the mind to silencing the mind, getting to an empty mind, right? And that is when you access that innate intelligence, and that is where spontaneity comes through. And now I'm able to put together all that happened through my corporate career, right? So as the mind silences, as the mind becomes empty, we're able to access that intelligence, access that peace, access that thing that we already have to kind of become more spontaneous. That is number two. Number three, my recent experience of the last few months is all of us, at least we've all been professionals. So, and are not really, not really the monks, ordained monks. So for all of us, the key happiness is in doing something, using our skills for the world. And that is the purpose of life. I mean, again, I've read quite a few books on purpose of life. The third point is pretty much once we are able to connect to our intelligence, what do we do with that? So we are able to uncover, that is what in the last few months has been uncovering my strengths, using my skills for the benefit of others, for the benefit of whatever work we are doing, it pretty much to the community, to the family, to the society. And for all of you who are still in a corporate career, to the corporate company, right? And the fourth point is definitely all this has to be tinged with enjoyment and enthusiasm. And as we continue to work in a more stressful situation, oh my God, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Everything has a purpose, and present moment awareness allows us to enjoy that. And the fourth point is pretty much that. As we continue to stay calm, as we continue to be connected with our inner intelligence, right? And the knowledge that we have, as we continue to do active work, using our skills for the sake of others, right? We also need to experience and enjoy this whole cycle. That is the fourth point, which have been in fact, my gospel, my core insight that I've been practicing every day, and I tell everyone, and that is those are things that I want to share with each of you as well. I just want to end with one quote from Eckhart Tolle. Some of you might have, he is a very accomplished author. In fact, my first book almost 20 years ago was Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he's written this book called The New Earth as well. So one quote from Eckhart Tolle that kind of I always carry on in my mind is, at any moment, if you are not in a state of acceptance, enjoyment, or enthusiasm, any moment, if you are not in a state of acceptance, enjoyment, or enthusiasm, then you are creating suffering from yourself and others. That's a wonderful quote. It's about being in the present moment, and meditation has been the key practice for me that helped me be in the present moment, and for all the abundance, all the wonderful things that have happened to me, which I've always been grateful for. So with that, Chandra, thanks very much for these few minutes. I don't know whether short my time, but it's been great to share on your wonderful platform.
Thank you, Sagar. That's been just amazing. You laid out a plan also of how the 4 points. I think this is beautiful. Infinite capability, but it's all limited by our mind. And meditation unlocks it. Then we use it for a purpose, and then we constantly enjoy the journey. Amazing. It couldn't be, the whole spirituality couldn't be summarized into just these 4 sentences this beautifully. So thank you, Saga, for you kept on continuing. You kept on saying one thing. You said, I don't know how many pay attention. Sagar had a fast track career, and then he attributes a lot of that to meditation. Fast track from a normal engineer to a vice president, contributing amazingly to billions of dollars of business, and in many ways. And then even though every time I listen to Saga, it's very, very practical. And a leader is constantly moving from one meeting room to another meeting room. You know that, because you are all the time enabling people, and then so everything is about meetings. Everything is about communication with the people. I think that's what Sagar is so emphasizing. Thank you, Saga. And we'll take SVB sir's comments as a very, very successful business leader, and then a close our session for today. And certainly, those of you wanting to share will stay back and then share for a little longer. SVB sir, your comments.
Good morning, Mr. Sai Kirvasagar. Thank you for sharing your experiences in your career. What I learned from your talk is, by going through meditation, we have been able to improve your communication. More in the communication, your spontaneous, messages you are able to get, and your presence of mind, which has been able to answer all the problems with the difficult customers. That is, you become more aware of being in the present, and thereby you are able to answer them. Secondly, about book reading, as rightly said by Mahatma Gandhi ji, whenever he faced problems, he used to refer to Bhagavad Gita, he will get an answer. Likewise, I think for all the problems or the things that you have to do, you have been reading the books, which has been very helpful, and that helps you to be in the present moment. And certainly, I think it is a great learning for all of us. And you said about 4 important points: innate intelligence, and how to improve how the mind gets improved with the meditation, and doing some things for others, and also do it with enthusiasm. These are all the great points which every one of us learned from you. Thank you, Mr. Kripasagar, for sharing your success story. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll have to listen to your success stories during this 6 weeks program. Whenever that you say, whenever you can give some time on this, certainly would like to listen to your success stories. Yes, as we close in, so certainly we'll take comments, but at 7:30 on a Sunday, so request Karthikeyan sir to have any closing comments.
Well, everything that can be said has been said by SBB. Nothing more to add except Sai Kripasagar has always been a very inspiring personality, and he has gone out of the way to persuade me to come down to Pyramid Valley. He has taken so much care. I look forward to being with him and his company for a few days. Wonderful, Sai. Very inspirational story of your life. And congratulations to you. Chandra, I have nothing more to add.
Thank you, sir, and looking forward to your visit. I don't know whether you are counting, but we are all counting for the day when you are coming.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, friends. Pyramid Valley International is a beautiful meditation center. Must be experienced, a new Shambhala, as called by Patriji. Shambhala is that Himalayas energy with various masters, and there are so many people who have meditated, over 20 lakh people now. 2 million people meditated in Pyramid Valley. Have said, many people have experienced various spirits, various masters, various people meditating, and then they experience this. There is a lot of energy in this place. That's how it's renamed to Shambhala, as Patriji has intuitively saw it. So do visit. It's in Bangalore, and Sai Kripasagar is the managing trustee, current managing trustee for Pyramid Valley International. We are opening the center sometime in October, and certainly there will be a process for it, and then but certainly we'll go and experience it. And Karthikeyan sir is gracing that next week into Pyramid Valley. But if anybody interested, maybe Saga can do exceptional things, a few things at a time. I think we're opening up in a few. So certainly it'll be great to experience the energy of Pyramid Valley. There'll be a process, and you can reach out to Sagar and the team. Thank you all. Have a great day, and we will meet back tomorrow. And the second week is going to be health. We're going to start with health. There are various things, how sleep is getting improved, how our stress stress gets removed. And then so we develop health, how anti-aging is happening in meditation, why people are looking younger and younger, dynamic through meditation, and then what causes addictions, what causes depression. So I think all of these we understand, and how meditation is helping remove, and then how we built up energy the whole day, so they're staying active from morning to night in all meetings, particularly business leaders. How stay active, and then more importantly, how our memory powers are getting increased significantly through meditation, so that we feel like passion for life. We feel like going back and then again energize, going back and live the life again. You've got to have the passion. The passion comes a lot from, of course, the body energy, and then more importantly, the memories, all the things that we feel like doing again. We want to read, we want to create, contribute, but things have to come from here. So we'll learn a lot. Next week is going to be packed with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and so do not miss it, and we'll be back again at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you all.